From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's AMN Drive Time, brought to you by Aishin.
AMN Drive Time is sponsored by Aishin, your trusted and reliable source for aftermarket automotive components and technology. Visit AishinAftermarket.com for more information.
Stefan, welcome to AMN Drive Time, sponsored by our good friends at Aishin.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you with us. So, Stefan, I think a great place to start when we do these things is you could just walk us through your career, how you got your start at Continental.
Okay. Yeah, I'm now with the company 21 years.
Wow.
So I started right after high school. It was an easy choice. The global headquarters of Continental is in Hanover, Germany, which also happened to be my hometown. So that brought me to the company. They offered a work and study program. So yeah, at the company you study and at the same time you work. It's a very intense 3-year program. And after that 3 years, in 2007, I started on the tire side as a central key user in a controlling function. I was there, that job, for 2 years, and then I moved over to the aftermarket side at ContiTech.
Okay.
Was a regional sales manager for a couple of different countries in Europe. That was a job for 9 years. Different countries, we rotated from time to time to just keep it interesting and challenging. And then in 2018, I made the big move from Germany over to the US, and I became the head of sales for the import channel. And was that for 3 years. And then in 2021, we combined our traditional channel and the import channel into one WD channel, and I became the head of sales for that channel in 2021, also for ContiTech. And in 2024, summer last year,
Yep.
I then moved over to the automotive side, and I became the head of the aftermarket for North America. And that's the job I'm still on today.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Big job. You're a lifer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very
Absolutely.
cool. So in March, as you well know, the Continental Supervisory Board approved the Automotive Division Spinoff as an important step in Conti's realignment. Maybe tell our audience how focused companies can create more value, especially in an ever-changing, more complicated environment.
Let me take one small step back and just giving you a high-level overview about Continental.
Great.
That may help. So Continental is that huge, massive, worldwide leading automotive supplier. And it has grown into that big corporation over the last 150 years. We have structured that in 3 different sectors. You have the tire side,
Yep.
you have ContiTech, which is technical rubber, everything out of rubber but a tire, and you have the automotive sector.
So the rubber is fundamentally belts and hose?
Correct.
Okay.
Belts, hose, hydraulics,
Okay.
air springs.
Oh.
So for our industry, this is the main categories for that side.
Got it.
And then the automotive side, this is now the sector where the company said it's grown to a level where we are strongly feeling that we are better when we are independent.
Okay.
And to what you were saying, the market environment out there is challenging. So the automotive industry is going through a huge transformation. There's a lot of big mega trends which are tackled in this automotive sector. And therefore, the company feels that we are much better off independently as a very focused sector on our own, because Continental as a whole is covering many different industries.
Sure.
And that sector here has really that core focus on the automotive industry. And being independent makes us faster and more agile to react to these changes. So as you said, in September this year, it's planned that this automotive sector is becoming an independent company, stock listed at the German Stock Exchange under the name of AUMOVIO.
What was the name again?
AUMOVIO.
AUMOVIO, okay.
That's the new name. So we're still getting used to it, but we're more and more getting into it, and we're really getting excited about it. One thing is what is important for us on the aftermarket side. So you mentioned focus in this environment. So that's equally true for us on the aftermarket side. So we need to keep that focus. We need to be constantly aware of what's happening in the market and be able to react to those in order to fulfill the demands of our customers. So, but at the same time, what I think is equally important is to also be a reliable and stable partner to our customers. So what we also, within this big change of becoming an independent company, on the aftermarket side, we will remain basically as we are today. So we continue with our same products, with the same performance that we're delivering today. So even the brands that we deliver to the aftermarket will stay, for most of them, the same. So we do have our ATE brand, which we use for our premium brake program. We do have our Ready brand, which we use for our multi-platform sensor, the only one out there which is pre-programmed. And then our spare part portfolio, that's currently branded under Continental, so we need to transition that to the still very known VDO brand, where it used to be 2 years ago. So we're going back to the VDO brand. So on one hand side, this becoming independent under AUMOVIO is increasing that focus, so helps us to really narrow down on the automotive industry and on the customer needs to adjust to this challenging and changing market situations. But at the other side, what I also see as an advantage in that is really creating a great motivation within the team. So it's really creating this motivation of we want to prove ourselves. It's like, hey, we become independent from the big Continental company, and we now want to prove ourselves and stand our own. And we want to make that right from the start. So there's a very high motivation that I'm seeing within our sector, and really want to prove ourselves and make it right from the start for the customers.
Will that headquarters also be in Hanover?
They will be in Frankfurt.
For NewCo? Okay, so NewCo will be in Frankfurt.
The global headquarters for AUMOVIO will be in Frankfurt.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it is a major, obviously, global automotive supplier. You've said that Continental is instrumental in shaping tomorrow's technology, including ADAS. It's getting a lot of airtime these days, right? Autonomous driving and software-defined vehicles. Yeah. How do you prioritize, among a lot of initiatives, how do you prioritize those initiatives?
So here's the good thing about the automotive sector. It really does not need to have that prioritization. So the automotive sector, and soon AUMOVIO, will have has four different segments. It's autonomous mobility. So they focus on everything around autonomous mobility, including ADAS. Then we have architecture and networking. That's where they have the strong focus on software-defined vehicles. We do have user experience. That's instrument dashboard clusters. And we do have safety and motion. This segment is developing everything around brakes and braking technology. So with being set up in that way, we don't need to prioritize between these big megatrends, but we have those megatrends covered, like software-defined vehicles, ADAS, autonomous driving, due to the structure of the company. For us in the aftermarket, we also benefit twice from it because we have that development on the OE side, right? They have that focus on developing with the OEs the future of tomorrow's mobility. We in the aftermarket can have our focus completely on our customers, and it's like, what does the market need? What does our customers need? And react to that. And the second benefit we have from that is once we see that those OE technologies mature and there's a demand rising in the aftermarket, like we now see with ADAS, we can then go and tap into that from our OE side and bring that OE technology to the aftermarket. So
got it.
Yeah, no really prioritization needed with the setup of the company.
Talk about Continental's core values, which I presume you carry forward with NewCo. For example, trust and passion to win, in the important role they play in the company's success.
Yeah. No, we do carry them forward. We will slightly adjust them so they get a little bit of a different naming inside AUMOVIO, but the core of it will still remain the same. So in total, we have 4 values. It's committed to win, reliable no matter what, ahead of the curve, and stronger together. So very similar to passion to win or trust like we have on Continental. To me, it's very important to have those core values. I think they can add a lot of, they can contribute to the success of a company. Specifically if they fulfill 2 elements. I think that's important for also having a meaningful values. The first element to me, what is important is that your employees need to be able to connect with them. They need to identify with those values. If your team is not able to identify with those values, then they become meaningless and they become just empty words. But if you reach it that they can identify with those values, they also that's the bridge for identifying yourself with the company. For that to reach it, I think you really need to look into where you are today. So, and how do you work? What's the working atmosphere? What's your culture? And that's what you want to reflect in those values.
Right.
The other element, which is equally important, is I think that these core values should also show where you want to be. So you also want to have this motivational effect that ambition should also be in there. And I think to me, the company, whether this was Continental with their original 4 core values or AUMOVIO with the slightly adapted but still on the core, the same principles, I think they made a very good job for me in order to, on one hand, picking values that I can identify myself with, and at the same time also keeping me motivated and ambitious to go above and beyond for our customers.
It's terrific. So when you are bringing new people into the company, you're making sure they're well versed in these values and they're comfortable with them and they can embrace them once they come aboard.
Yeah. No, we want to have people that are good in working in a team, so stronger together. That to me is my most favorite one. But we also want to have people that are, committed to win, that are ahead of the curve, so that can drive us forward and that come into the company with this motivation.
Sure. Yeah. The whole collaboration thing is so important these days.
Absolutely.
And sometimes if people are very comfortable working in a silo and not collaborating, it can just create a lot of friction for everybody involved.
There's a nice African proverb that I like a lot, and it's like, you can be faster alone, but you walk further as a team. So
yes.
And that's like, yes, sometimes it's hindering in working with a team because you need to align with that person and with that person. So you could be faster alone, but you cannot go as long as you can go with the whole group. And you as one individual, you can't just do it all on your own.
I like that. And so we sit here in the summer of 2025.
Yep.
What is your outlook? So you got something big. You're going to be your own independent company in September, of course.
That is pretty big.
But what's your kind of vibe for September and the following 12 months for the aftermarket kind of in general and NewCo specifically? What do things look and feel like?
No, I mean, as you said, this is kind of the year of transformation, right?
Yeah.
Going into that new independent company, AUMOVIO, that's a big move for the whole company. But also for us in the aftermarket. For us in the aftermarket, I mean, there's not too much of a change when it comes to the RTA brake or to the Ready brand, but we need to rebrand everything which is now in Continental back to VDO, which is still well known. So we believe it's still a good transition towards, because the brand recognition is still out there.
Sure.
But it still keeps us busy on that regard. In addition to that, we also want to have a stronger emphasis on our RTA brake line and make that a bigger push here in North America. We also started a lot of strategic initiatives in the beginning of the year that we are continue executing. So, and that will make us even stronger in the market and improve our services to our customers. So there's a lot going on. We have a lot on the plate, and we're really thriving on this hustle. So we have a high workload that we meet with an even higher energy. So, and that's really something which makes me proud to see from the team. That high motivation on how they tackle that change and how they navigate through this transformation on becoming this independent company. So, and that's really the outlook for this year, is really to focus on this transformation and coming out as a better company for our customers, and true really to our aftermarket motto of shaping tomorrow together. And this together is within our company as a team, but then also together with our customers.
Sure.
So having them in the focus and really becoming a stronger partner for them.
So Stefan, it is tradition, as you hopefully know, that we do something called lightning round.
Yes.
So I know you've seen a few of the drive times. So we're gonna do a little lightning round here.
Okay.
Are you ready for that?
Bring it on.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Just a few questions. Just kind of high level. sum up what it was like growing up in Hanover, Germany, and the beginning of your career. Tell us about Hanover, what it was like growing up there, what are your favorite memories, that sort of thing.
Yeah, Hanover has always been a great home for me. I mean, I've not lived in any other German city, so I can't compare it. I mean, I've visited other cities, but really living in another city, I can't compare it. But to me, the city had everything that it needed. So it's a small 500,000 people city, so small enough to not feel overloaded, but big enough to, like, you have everything that you need. It has a very big city forest, bigger than the Central Park. And so I was on my bike for most of my youth. So in going from A to B, I was always riding my bike, and so I was outdoors a lot. So, we lived on one side of the city, and you need to go to the other side of the city. You drive through a city forest for most of the time. So it's a beautiful, beautiful little city. It's very known for its expo place. So it has a huge fairground, which is one of the biggest in the world. So they have big shows in the city, which also then helps to have good restaurant scenes. So I'm a big foodie. So also living in a city that has a good restaurants with good food was also another benefit.
You know, Greater Akron, I know you lived here for 6 years, right?
I did.
Before you moved to Pennsylvania.
Yes.
That's about 400,000, and we got the great national parks here. It's it's kind of a forest, right? So it's probably not that much different from Hanover.
I mean, when we moved from Germany to Ohio, we didn't know anything about Ohio. So and it's not the most known state. No. But we felt home right from the beginning. So it's the state really served us good. The area here served us really good. We loved the Metro Park, the Cuyahoga Valley. So.
Right.
It's a great place to live. So I always say I lived in beautiful Ohio, and I mean it with all my heart.
Yeah, right. Right now you live in, I don't know if I can pronounce it, Breinigsville?
Breinigsville, which is like a suburb outside of Allentown.
Okay, so it's Greater Allentown.
Yes,
so,
Pennsylvania.
Tell us about Greater Allentown, Pennsylvania. And you live there now for 1 year.
Correct.
You moved from Greater Akron. You're now out there. How is it living there, and how does it compare to Hanover and Greater Akron?
It's very similar to Greater Akron.
Okay.
The land, the surroundings the Lehigh Valley is just beautiful. So again, you have a great nature outdoors. It's maybe a little bit more urban than Copley or Fairlawn, where I lived before. Yep. And you have a lot of people from New York and New Jersey that live in Allentown. So there's a lot more traffic, and it's also a big logistic hub. So you have a logistic hub for New York and for Washington, D.C. So you have a lot of warehouses, and with that also truck traffic. But apart from that, it's very comparable. Also weather-wise, it's basically the same. So
a year in so far, pretty good, because you have a 14-year-old and a 4-year-old. So you got, I don't know, 14, what are you, like a freshman in high school at 14?
She just finished her first year in high school.
Okay.
Yes.
And then a 4-year-old that's kind of getting ready to go to kindergarten.
Correct. Yeah.
Feels good to everybody?
Yeah, we're settled on. I mean, it was most important for us that the old one is settling good. So that's the most important. Yeah. So we were fortunate enough to move into a very good school district.
Oh, good.
And yeah, she killed it in her first year in high school. So so far, it's been a good transition.
And she's actually here with you today, making your visit.
Yeah,
which is kind of fun.
Puts a little bit more pressure on me. So.
Yeah, I got it. So on your LinkedIn profile, you have a question that you ask, and it's, when was the last time you did something for the first time?
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to ask that question to you. When was the last time you did something for the first time?
Just right now. So this is my first time on DriveTime. See?
Come on.
No, I really like to explore new things. So whether this is food-wise or, I mean, the more crazy food gets, the more likely I'm tempted to try it. So that's usually something which I like a lot. But we travel also a lot, go new places, discover new places. So yeah, I mean, that's probably in a nutshell. But if you pick me on a date, I think the last time I did something for the first time, I mean, it's really this interview here. But yeah, apart from that, maybe also bringing my daughter to a workplace and get her a little view into like the real professional life of my side. So that's also a new for me.
So the last question is going to be 2 parts, because in our research here, we know you were a bit of a foodie, right? So 2 questions. One kind of general, favorite German food? Like if you're home to Germany, like what's something authentic you just got to get that don't necessarily, maybe they have it here, but it's not as good. That's question one. And then the second part of that question is, and it only is for a local Akron guy, are you a Skyway or a Swenson's person, or maybe neither? But your daughter might have an opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever tried Skyway. Maybe I start with the second question first. We've been to Swenson's. I don't know if we've been to Skyway. So.
Well, I'm a Swenson's guy. So
okay.
For our audience there.
So as of now, I'm neither.
Okay, fair enough.
I ate Swenson. I liked it, but I didn't try Skyway yet, so I don't have the comparison. So.
For the people who don't know anything about Akron who listen to us, there are two cheeseburger places that are sort of local rivals.
Okay, so I need to try Skyway.
I'm a Swenson's guy.
Okay.
I don't even think you need to bother with Swenson's or Skyway. But
okay. Coming back to your first question, so I mean we cook a lot at home, so a lot of the things that I like from German food we cook at home. So I'm not missing that if I go to Germany, so I don't need to have it.
Great.
Probably my most favorite German food is like it's a beef roll, and then it's slow cooked in sauce. So and it's filled with pickles and bacons and onions and mustard, so that's something that I really like.
Sounds very German.
It does, and it is, but I don't need to have that when I go to Germany. So when I go to Germany, what I absolutely need to have is a currywurst, which is like a very special sausage that is just doesn't exist over here. So I haven't seen that anywhere in the States yet. So that's one of the must things I need to have when I'm over at Germany.
Got it. Stefan, great to have you on AMN Drive Time, sponsored by our friends.
Thanks for having me again.
Our pleasure.
It was a pleasure.